Hello and welcome into this week's NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's Xfinity Rewind, we are looking back at Saturday's 28th annual MoneyLion 300. 113 laps, 300.58 miles, around the 2.66 mile Talladega Superspeedway in Talladega, Alabama. 8 caution flags in this race for a total of 34 laps. Pretty normal for a Talladega race, especially as we got toward the end. We had some crazy wrecks near the end of this race. Started early, lap 8, as the 19 of Brandon Jones spun on the front stretch. And lap 25, stage 1 concluded with Tyler Reddick taking the stage 1 victory. He had a very fast number 2 car today, as he usually does. He has been near the front every race so far this season. Nothing happening in stage number 2. Most of the chaos happening in stage 3 in this race. Stage 2 ended at lap 50 with Noah Gragson taking his first stage victory in the Xfinity Series. Lap number 67, debris in turn 1 brought out the caution. Lap 86, the 9 of Gragson and the 2 of Reddick got together on the front stretch. Gragson ends up spinning down into the inside wall just past pit road. Reddick would get some damage from this as well, and it would send Reddick very far back in the field and would cause a very bad mid-portion of the day for him. He would bounce back from it, though. Lap number 96, multi-car incident on the backstretch. 00 of Cole Custer, the 01 of Stephen Light, the 1 of Michael Annett, the 7 of Justin Allgaier, the 22 of Austin Cindric, the 39 of Ryan Sieg, and the 99 of Cody Ware, all involved in this one. Lap 104, debris in turn number 4 brought out the caution. And lap 110, the final caution of the day, which brought out a 14-minute red flag for a multi-car incident on the backstretch. Another multi-car incident on the backstretch involving Justin Allgaier, the 18 of Jeffrey Earnhardt, the 23 of John Hunter Nemechek, Jeremy Clements, David Starr in the 52, the 66 of Timmy Hill, and the 90 of Alex LeBay. All involved in this huge wreck on the backstretch. This, I think, we had 2 big ones in this race, and they both were on the backstretch of all places. 16 lead changes in this race among 10 drivers. 34 laps were led by Tyler Reddick. 19 laps went to Noah Gragson. 16 laps led by Christopher Bell. 13 laps went to Justin Allgaier. 10 laps led by Michael Annett. 9 laps went to Chase Briscoe. 7 laps led by Ross Chastain. 3 laps were led by David Starr, and 1 lap apiece went to Brandon Jones and Jeremy Clements. All right, on to your results for the day. I mentioned Tyler Reddick would bounce back from it. He had a very fast car. He ended up bouncing back for the victory in this one. Tyler Reddick takes his first victory of the 2019 season in the Roland Chevrolet. Very good run out of Tyler Reddick today. Somehow found his way back to the front at the end of the race and was able to hold off some hard charges from the likes of Gray Galding. I know Talladega's the great equalizer, but who had Gray Galding going for the win in this race? Fantastic run by Gray Galding in that 08 car for SS Greenlight Racing. He put on a heck of a show there at the end. I was convinced going down the backstretch that Gray Galding was going to win this race. He was making some moves. He had some runs. Unfortunately, nothing really panned out for him before they got to the start-finish line, but he was on a mission, and he looked like he knew what he was doing. So, sign that kid up for a competitive ride. I mean, he had a competitive ride today in the SS Greenlight car. It's not usually winning material, but I think Gray Galding might have more talent than I think a lot of people give him credit for. And I think he kind of showed that today on a track where everything gets equalized and you're kind of on equal footing. That's really the best chance for a lot of these guys, if you're not in the best car, to kind of show maybe you have more talent than maybe some people think you do. Christopher Bell came home in the 3rd position, Chase Briscoe 4th, and Austin Cindric rounded out the top 5. Rest of your top 10, John Hunter Nemechek, Justin Haley. Great runs here for Josh Williams in 8th, Landon Castle in 9th in the 4-car for JD Motorsports. And Chris Cockrum gets Rick Ware Racing a top 10 with that 17 car in the 10th position. 11th through 20th, Noah Gragson landed in the 11th position after his incident in the middle of the race. Brett Moffitt had, I don't know if it was a fuel scare or what exactly it was. He pulled out a line on the final restart with 2 to go and was wiggling back and forth coming to the line. It had to be a fuel pickup issue of some sort. I didn't think anybody was really all that close on fuel, but took what I think was a sure top 10 for him and ended up in the 13th position after that. Ryan Sieg battled back after getting caught up in that first big one. He stayed on the lead lap and came home in the 16th position. He was much faster than that, though, running up inside the top 2 or 3 all day until getting caught up in that incident. Brandon Jones came home in 18th. 21st through 30th, Jeffrey Earnhardt came home in 26th, 3 laps down after his accident. Jeremy Clements, 27th. Justin Allgaier, 28th. All these guys getting caught up in accidents. Ross Chastain came home in 30th. Heartbreak for Ross Chastain because he was so quick, had such a fast car, and he was really fun to watch. He was definitely the most aggressive guy out there on the track. He was not happy with second, and he was doing everything he possibly could to get the lead when he wasn't in the lead. He was very fun to watch because most guys, especially on the Xfinity side, are not that aggressive at Talladega or Daytona. They just kind of ride there and just are content with where they are until maybe a couple laps to go. No, Ross Chastain wanted to be in the lead at all times, and he made no bones about it, and it was really fun to watch. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it to the end, so we never got to see what he was able to do there at the finish. Final page, 31st through 37th, Michael Annett landed in the 31st position after a wreck. Same thing for Cole Custer in 32nd. So that's your results from the MoneyLion 300. Let's head over to the Media Center. We'll see what Tyler Reddick and team had to say after this one.
Yeah, it was just a wild day, like you said. We had a great car. The day started off great. We were doing everything we needed to do as a team. I had a hiccup on pit road. We lost a couple spots from there. We had a speeding penalty. The 10 and I were going down pit road, and I think Ross and those guys maybe missed their speed limit a little bit. So he was pushing me, thinking he was running his speed limit, but we were speeding. And I was trying to slow us both down, but that hiccup put us back. And I don't know what happened. I like running close to the wall, and I just ran into it. I don't understand it, but where I hit it, there's a plate that connects like 2 segments of wall or something like that. I think they have a gate there, and it really killed the right side of our car, and it was coming apart there towards the end of that second stage, but we were fortunately able to still score stage points, come down, and then go to work on fixing it. And then as you alluded to, the day kept getting crazier as we were working on it. It took us longer than planned. We came out way behind the leaders, and we were 2 laps from getting lapped, and we somehow got lucky. A caution came out and saved us and threw us right back in the mix.
Well, I mean, especially with all the adversity we went through today, to get back up there and fight for the win was pretty amazing. Said a lot about our team. Said, we feel like we've gave up a couple this year so far, so it's kind of nice to redeem ourselves. It's really cool to get your first win at Talladega for sure. It's never a dull moment here, and I think if anybody watched that race today, they'd agree. It was one of the better Talladega races I've seen in a while. So it was really cool to be able to get up there, and Tyler's just an amazing talent. Like he's all over it.
Danny, I find it hard to believe that RC's never won an Xfinity race here. I mean,
yeah, I heard that actually during the broadcast. I was sitting up there with Randall, and I'm like, all the races we've won here with Dale Earnhardt and this and that, and it's one of those things. Well, and also this is Randall's first win as a crew chief, and so we're celebrating multiple things today. But I'm gonna tell you, the group of guys that Richard has put together, the team, the RCR. I mean, we have come back together as a group, and you're gonna see a whole lot more of us. And it's a great day for us.
And we'll take a look at your playoff grid before wrapping up here tonight. Not a lot of changes here. Obviously, Tyler Reddick moving into the red column now as he has picked up a win and is locked into the playoffs. Not a lot of other changes here. Ryan Sieg moves up a couple of spots up to the 8th position. Brandon Jones fell, I believe, 4 positions down to the 12th spot, so he is not in a great spot at the moment. Only sitting 32 points above that cut line above Ross Chastain. So Chastain, although it could have been a lot better of a points day than it ended up being for Ross Chastain, and unfortunately he's only got, I believe, 1 race left in that 10 car. He's definitely put on his best runs this season in that 10 car. And unfortunately, again, he's only got 1 race left in it, I believe. There may be 2, but I think that was only a 3-race schedule he had in that car. And then the rest of the season is in the 4 car. So it's not looking good for Ross Chastain to make the playoffs unless Brandon Jones continues to free fall like he has been doing. And then maybe Brandon Jones doesn't make the playoffs. Of course, Greg Galding keeps doing what he did today. He might be a playoff contenders. He did move up a spot this week up into the 14th position, so that is something to keep an eye on there, as Greg Galding has not been super competitive on non-plate tracks, but at the same time he's not been terrible. He's been running right there around 15th most weeks, so if he can keep consistently knocking on that door, top 15s, top 10s, he might sneak his way in there, and maybe he picks up a win at Daytona in July. That would be quite the story, and that would shake things up a lot. So after what I saw today out of Greg Galding, it would not surprise me one bit to see him pick up the win at Daytona in July. So keep an eye on things here. Your 12 playoff drivers may not be as solid as what we once thought. Still looking pretty solid, but there could be some spoilers in there. Ross Chastain and Greg Galding both may have something to say about this before all is said and done. But that is your playoff grid following the MoneyLion 300, and I believe that'll do it for us today on the Xfinity Rewind. We had an ARCA Rewind go up earlier today with a winner interview from Todd Gilliland, so if you haven't seen that, go check that out. He has his link down below in the description. Cup preview coming up tomorrow morning, actually probably this morning by the time this goes up, Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. To get you ready for the Geico 500 from Talladega. Cup Rewind coming up tonight after the race to recap you on everything that happened. Pole position as usual Monday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, to recap you on everything that happened this weekend, not just in the world of NASCAR, but in all the world of motorsports. And we do have some things to talk about there. We've got F1, I know. I'm pretty sure NHRA is in action. I'm sure World of Outlaws is in action. So we've got some things to talk about there. Besides NASCAR, so you'll want to tune in for that. It'll be a fun show. But if you haven't done it already, you need to go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. While you're down there, why don't you hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. But at that, this has been the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.